All right, let me do the usual thing. Okay, so today I'm going to work on a few tickets on the open source project Dr. String. Now, this is the open source component of the Mac app I worked on a few streams ago, and is actually the back end of it, if you will. So the Mac app goes into your Xcode as a plugin and then formats your docstring. And it actually uses this project as a library to actually perform its tasks. Now, in addition to being a formatter, this project also is a linter. So it finds, you tell it the style of docstring you expect, and then it will tell you in your project what doesn't look right as far as the docstring format goes, right? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, this is the first ticket I want to work on, and let's just jump in. So the project is here. Maybe the first thing we should do, what is this? Yeah, okay, this is something we'll work on later. Maybe the first thing we should do is switch the branch from master. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So let me just fetch origin real quick. Blah, blah, blah. Check out main. And as usual, let me just look for a reference to master, see what happens. Okay, so there's quite a bit of documentation references master. So let's do that. Right, and changelog uses master as a placeholder for the upcoming version. It's no big deal. Remove reference to master branch. Okay. So yeah, let's just push this up. And then at GitHub, I will go settings, branches, default branch main, update. Okay, I hope no one is using this as a library and also using master directly. But for now, I'm just gonna trust. Okay, just gonna trust. All right, let's change this. Uh-oh. One sec. Okay. I mean, I'm using one password, so it's actually not too bad if you guys see anything, but I prefer not to if I can. All right. Here we go. All right, so everything should be good. Now I can just delete the old branch. I'll do that locally as well. Okay. Wait, so let's get to business. So maybe I should explain this a little bit. So this project has many options for configuring the docstring styles. So some of the critical ones are let me see, where would the format B. Okay. So these are the formats. Let me increase the font size as well. Hope that looks okay. All right. So here are a bunch of formats. Superfluous. So there's, I'll just point out this specific Boolean option, allow superfluous exclusion. So what does that mean? So in order to tell docstring what are the, let's say, source files you want to lint, you use a list of included paths, okay? And when you specify these paths, you can say, foobar.swift, that's your path, or you can also use a glob pattern, and then everything that matches the glob pattern will be included or excluded, depending on in what place you use it. Okay, and there's this, but sometimes, let's say you have a big list of excluded files. Let's say because you have docstring issues when you first introduced this tool into your code base. So one way you may do it is just enable it and fail the build on CI or locally or however you want to do it if docstring complains, and you don't want to migrate all your docstring formatting problems all at once. So you can exclude all the files that has the problem, right? So that's how you may get your exclude a big list of excluded files, and then as you fix your existing docstring problems, you can remove them from the list of excluded paths. But the problem is, what if you fix the docstring but forgot to delete it from the configuration? So by default, when that happens, docstring will complain and tell you, hey, I noticed that you want to exclude this file, and this file actually doesn't have any docstring problems. So that's not great. You should delete it from the exclusion list, right? So that's what this option is about. Allow superfluous exclusion, all right? I think at this point we can also dive in and see what it actually does, okay? So let's just grab all the references to it, and we'll see. At some point we'll be reading it, right? Okay. Right, so it's all probably references in this file is what we need. Okay, so this is the function that performs linting. Okay, we call it check, but it's just another word for it is linting. And there's various things that we do, including expanding the glob patterns and whatnot. But at some point, you'll see we'll iterate through all the included files, all right? And then we have a list of excluded paths. And then we see, okay, if you include in your include path, it's also matches in the exclusion paths. Then we'll see, okay, in that case, the path is excluded, and you've specified that it's okay to have a superfluous exclusion. Then we continue. Otherwise, we will skip. Okay, the logic here is a little twisted because it's a guard with a negative, but I believe what I said is accurate. So, so this is one way you can kind of get what this does. Yeah, so let me think about that for a second. So there's a list of exclusives, included paths, and then we first see, okay, the path might also be excluded, okay? So if the path is also excluded, and we allow superfluous exclusion, then we will not perform anything with regard to this file. No, if not, that's not the case. That means if the path is not excluded, or the path is excluded, however, we allow the superfluous exclusion, then we will go in and do things to the path, right? That means if a file is indeed excluded, we may also go and open it and see if there's problems, because it's included, and we're saying, like, you know, little conflicts between include and exclude is okay. And here we're like, if we didn't find any problems, and we don't allow superfluous exclusion, and the excluded path contains the path, right? So excluded paths right, so there's two variables here. Excluded path is the literal list of paths you provide, whether via a configuration file or from the command line. And then we expand that to a group of excluded paths. But like the reason that you can potentially expand it is because you may have glob patterns in the literal path you provide, right? But here we're like, this is a specific quote unquote instantiated path, and if it's explicitly, yeah, that means like if it's specified with, if path variable here is actually expanded from a glob path, then this condition, the condition on the line 117 will fail, right? So that doesn't count. So what this means is, again, this is when you don't have any problem for this specific path, and you told docstring that to complain about superfluous exclusion, so not allow superfluous exclusion. Then we'll report a problem that says, okay, you excluded this path explicitly, right, as part of the input, but there's no problem here. So you should probably consider deleting this exclusion from your either configuration or command line argument. Okay, so I'm sorry, I spent quite a bit of time explaining this, but the point is, this 117 made it so that this particular problem is reported only for the explicit paths. Okay, so this is going to be helpful when we modify it. Yeah, later it's also being used for things like if you explicitly exclude some files, but it's not included in the first place, right? Then that's also a problem. We're going to also complain, but with a different message. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, I guess the problem we are facing today with the ticket is that, what if you have a pattern that you want to exclude, okay? But it doesn't match anything, right? So there's a glob pattern, dot slash double star slash module slash sources star, something like this, right? but that path may not match any file. But you want it to be, you want that to be okay. Today, when that happens, we will throw throw an error that says you have an invalid pattern because it doesn't match anything. Okay, so let's read this logic as well. When we expand paths, okay, if the glob underlying glob function returns an empty result, that means we consider the path invalid. Okay, and we return that here, and then we just combine all the invalid paths, all right, and then we generate a result for each one of them. Yeah, so let's get on to this and start. I think first thing I would like to do here is make this a little bit more explicit. Again, this is expanding glob. Okay. So I would like to call these invalid include patterns. Invalid exclude patterns. Okay. Include patterns. Okay. All right, so here, like I said before, we just blindly generate a problem for all the ones that doesn't match any actual paths. But essentially what we want to do today is add an option such that configuration if config okay, I'm gonna use Xcode for this. Sorry. Okay, so it's check.swift. All right. So let's just make up a new variable, right? Let's call it allow empty patterns or something like that. Allow empty patterns. Okay. So when this is true, we will do the rest of the code here. We'll add up all the empty glob patterns and then iterate each one of them and generate a problem for each. Okay, now This will cause a compile error, which is no big deal. I'm gonna go in here and start enhancing this, right? So allow superfluous exclusion, var allow empty patterns. Yeah, allow superfluous exclusion is it's actually kind of hard to understand. Maybe I should take this opportunity and rename this. Maybe not. That's fine. So allow empty pattern. Let's by default make it false. Okay. Then we'll see. Then we will see how it goes. So that made the test pass. Okay. Now let's update our keys. This is where we choose the user interface. So empty patterns, maybe. So there are two ways to go about this. We can add allow in front of this, or we can ignore that word in front of this. Yeah, I think either way is not going to be super intuitive. Therefore, allow being slightly better doesn't really improve things by much. So let's see. So in this method, we are decoding it from coding keys. Okay. So let's just add it here, right? If let allow empty patterns, try values decode if present bool, and the key is allow empty patterns. Oh. Okay. And we also need to encode it. Okay. Everything just compiles, which is a little concerning. I think before I do anything, I need to think about this. So we need to at least do one more thing, right? At least. Let's look at this run method. Right. So there should be a CLI module here. CLI. CLI just calls run. Okay. So run is in the core, I believe. Okay. Okay, so this is the user interface, right? And we can take a look at superfluous exclusion. All right. So superfluous exclusion is part of check subcommand, which makes sense. So we just follow this pattern, right? This will be empty pattern. So let's update this and explicitly excluded path and excluded considering inclusion pattern, a pattern for inclusion or exclusion invalid when the pattern match is empty, no result, empty, no All right, that's pretty good. Now I also need to do things like this is since I wrote this a while ago, so I remember the Mac how it works roughly is we get the commands, and then we create a default value and then overrides the options that are present in the command. Okay. So I need to figure out where that happens. Overrides, maybe. Let's just search for superfluous. Okay. So self.empty allow empty patterns equals check command empty patterns allow empty patterns. Okay, so I need to go back to check command. Empty patterns. Okay, so this ensures that when the option is specified via command line, it will take effect. And since we've updated the encoding and decoding code, that means when things are coming from, say, a TOML file, it should also have effect. So I suspect this is all we need to do since we started by updating the consumer side of this flag. I guess the rest that we have to do is just write a test to verify that this works. I have no idea whether. So we can take a look at this. So here are some tests for superfluous exclusions, right? So how do we test this? We call this run test method. We have include and exclude, okay? And when we have include exclude, what happens really is we take our own directory, we append fixtures, okay, and then we straight up, okay, we translate these names into a path like this, okay, and then we call this file check output. Okay, that's just using file check. We send a configuration, and then we run check, okay, and check will output some problems, and we will catch the problems. Okay. So let me find the invalid patterns. Invalid patterns, let's look at the informant. Could not find any files matching. Right, it's this one. Do I have a test for this? Okay. So the test for this is very similar. We construct a list of include and excludes. Let's say if we include star and exclude complete, which for this test translates to star would be star.fixture, so everything here, and then exclude complete. Is there no such thing called a complete.fixture? Oh, check not. Okay. Right. Okay, so the test we need to write is very similar to this one, actually. Let's just write it. Oops. So let's call this empty patterns tests, right? And then let's import test. Empty patterns tests. And I'm gonna borrow heavily from invalid pattern test. I'm just gonna copy its body here. And just curate this body. So we want this utility for finding tests. We expand our input and include and exclude stuff. Okay. And here we need to make one more change to the configuration, which is allow allow empty patterns, and we make that true. So I probably have to include a file check. Okay. All right, so if I just run this test, it should fail. Oh, sure. I think all, maybe this one will pass, but I don't want to run all of this. This one's just sweet. All of these all the positive ones should fail. No? Because these are not patterns. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So we need to... Anyways, this is like this. Check empty pattern for exclusion is not reported. Okay. And then we'll include everything and exclude does not exist star dot, I don't know, something like this. Okay, so this was not included, right? And then if I make this false, this should be reported. No. Okay, so this test is faulty essentially. I need to think about this. So allow empty patterns. Okay, let's run this test. We're getting our breakpoint. Okay, good. Now, because this was set to be true, right? So this condition will fail, so we should just expect the execution to go here. Oh. What? Config, please. Allow empty pattern is true. Oh, allow, okay, this is inverted. Classic mistake. But also, as we know, this value being true or false doesn't seem to have any effect in the behavior of the actual code. So the debug continues. Okay. Yeah, let's run that test again. Okay. So in this case, allow empty pattern is false. So not false is true. Therefore, we're inside, right? Okay. And what is the value of all invalid patterns? So there's one value in here. Yeah, this value. Okay. So we should report an invalid pattern. Therefore, we should generate a description for invalid pattern. Description for invalid pattern would read, where is it? Could not find any file matching blah, blah, blah. Okay. And our test, not find any files matching. Oh, maybe this is why the test is faulty. Okay, so this is a faulty test. I need to update the other test as well. And then here I'll add a new thing called allow empty and we default it to false. Okay. Okay, so basically, oops, it's not reported when it's allowed. And then another test is reported when it's not allowed. All right, so this case would be like this. All right, I guess I'll rerun now. I mean, let's just look at the test result first. It failed. That's because I didn't actually write past the value that allows it. Okay, so if I change this to true, actually, this is a good point. I shouldn't even default this. Let's just make it explicit, right? Allow empty is false, true. So now I would expect both tests to pass. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's really all that's necessary actually. Invalid pattern test. Okay, I need to delete this. All right. This should still pass. Okay. All right. So let's check in. Checking some changes. Restore staged. Okay. So let me just update that one test first. Fix faulty test. Expected text, negative text output has wrong value, had a wrong value. Therefore, tests was going to pass even if the expected value was present. Okay, so that one can be its own pull request. And then we have our new option, right? So adding a new option is quite a bit of work because we have documentation to update. Okay, I mean, it's actually, maybe it may not be as bad as I thought. Anyways, let's call this implement allow empty pattern option. Okay. Regret. Let's check out a new branch for this. Oh. It's so easy to muscle memory from, yeah, years of experience. Okay. All right, so this guy goes straight up to master. I mean, straight up to remote. Do I even allow this? Oh, I do, evidently. Okay, now I can switch to empty patterns. Pattern. Force checkout. Okay, let's continue. So that was the implementation. Now I need to update the documentation. Okay. Let's just look for superfluous. Is this how you spell it? Okay, superfluous exclusion is mentioned in here. So let's just copy this whole thing again. Lots of it is the same after all. And let's call this empty pattern. So what should I describe in this option? By default, a for path may be deemed redundant, therefore problematic. This behavior can be turned off if superfluous exclusion is true. Okay, let's try this. By default, pattern, file pattern, or a path pattern in the excluded list may be deemed redundant when it doesn't match any existing paths. Any actual existing paths. These patterns are problematic. I guess I don't need to do this. This behavior can be turned off if empty patterns is true. Excluded path. There's some specifics about excluded paths that we don't need to explain. All right. Then we also need to update the changelog and say, I guess I'll give it a new section, right? New pattern option that allows empty Boolean option that allows empty file patterns to exist in exclude list. Path pattern? Okay. And Boolean option empty patterns. Okay. Anything else? I guess we can also manually perform some tests, but we already have a unit test, so let's see, update documentation for empty pattern. Okay. So now we have a pull request. Add empty pattern option. Closes issue number 202. Oh, this won't pass tests because we forgot to generate unit test, Unix tests, I believe. So there's a thingy that updates the manifest. Maybe make generate Linux manifest. Okay, compiles everything, no problem. And we have some changes. Just squish this change there. Oops. I mean, I don't expect this to have any super bad effects. So maybe in the meantime, we can move on to doing the next task. Actually, no. Since we're streaming, I'd like to have clean beginning and end. So let's just wait for some of these to pass. And then maybe, let's see. Let me see how long since my last release. So beginning of July is the last release. And since then, we've done some changes. Mostly these changes are made for the Mac app, but I don't see harm shipping them to the command line neither. Right? So maybe we can make a new release today. So maybe that's the end of today's stream. I'd like to at least sneak in this, and it should be a quick one. We just need to update the the version of Swift ArgumentParser, which my understanding is there's some incompatible changes. We can go look at that actually. Okay, so let's read the changelog. Okay. All right, so 0.20 additions. You can now specify default values for array properties of possible types. Okay, nice. Changes. Release requires 5.2. Default value for all property are now written using default initializer syntax. So before you would write this, now you need to write this. Specify default value in the typical default value syntax. Remove the deprecate version warning. Okay, so there's deprecation warning. Okay. Fixes. All right, that's it. Okay, so this is, I guess, the breaking change. Yeah, no problem. And then there's the completion scripts. I suppose it's something we could entertain. But let me document this first. Okay, so there's no bash. They shall completion. This is now supported by Swift ArgumentParser. So we should consider adopting it and distribute them to users via Homebrew. This would be an enhancement. It's a pretty good first issue. Okay. All right, how are we doing? Anything passed? Anything failed? Okay. Looks like our test on Bionic passed. As is typical, Unix tests run faster. Do I want to watch a Mac test maybe? Nah, I don't think so. Okay, so maybe I want to read a little bit more about completion scripts. Oh, nice. So the command now just have an extra thing here for free. And then you can customize it. Huh. And the script is just a little bit of code, right? Bash or ZSH. Okay. Bash completion. What the heck is that? Interesting. Okay. So maybe one day, or well, not one day, maybe like soon, I will try to add something for fish here, right? Because fish completion is pretty straightforward. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, it's been less than an hour. So I think we made some good progress. And, you know, I don't think the next task will take long. So maybe we can look a little. I doubt, I don't know, I'm hesitating. Not sure. We can try to work on some of these. I don't know. Oh yeah, maybe I should do a new release and do it on stream. Is that okay? I mean, it's just tagging things, right? Okay, the Mac test. Okay, one of them passed. That's good. All right, let's move on. Okay. Okay. Let's do it. Go to package.swift, find the argument parser, and then bump this to 2.2. So I need to check Swift syntax real quick as well. Swift syntax, okay. So 0.3 tag yet. Not yet. Okay, so we don't worry about that too much. Okay. All right, let's just do it and do make build. Got the new version. And then we'll, since the deprecation warning is our warnings, and I have treat warning as error, so this build just simply won't pass, right? It's deprecated, deprecated. Yet all these are deprecation errors. Perfect. So I'll just do the same thing inside here because of, I have jump to error. How are we doing? Slow. Still compiling. Okay. Yeah, so one day I'll also try to refactor this project a little bit. I believe this whole project, since it's modeled after the JSON decoder in Foundation, open source Foundation, everything is in one big file. I suspect that's why this is also always a choke point when it comes to compilation. For some reason, everything in a big file makes it super slow. And there's no reason it should be organized like that. In Foundation, since it's a monolith library, it makes sense to have one file and all the related type required all live together. But since this is a standalone library, there's really no need to do it in that way. Okay, anyways. So how do I specify the default value? I mean, according to the documentation, I can write this, right? Okay. But is that my default value is my question. How do I know which is my default value? I mean, I can kind of guess, but Needs separation. No need separation. Okay. Line after colon. Makes sense that these are empty as default, I guess. No align after colon. False. Provide an empty array literal as default value. Ah. Okay, looks like we're good. But I need to examine this a little bit closer because I just assumed a bunch of things. It's like, oh, here's an array, and intuitively its meaning is like including path and default value should be empty, right? It's like pretty snap judgment for each one. And some of these I'm pretty confident because, for example, no exclude, it's an option to override exclude, right? So by default, it shouldn't be true. Does that make sense? Similar to the no separation and no align after colon, these all make sense. I guess my default value for all of these are empty, right? I mean, configuration.swift. Yeah, these is empty. Yeah, this one, they're all empty by default. Okay, so the command line argument gave me the correct default value as well. All right, that's really, really straightforward, I guess. So what about the previous pull request? Okay, so this one, we can rebase and merge. All right. Swift ArgumentParser. Oh, I just realized what this stands for. Okay. Okay. Is that all? Is this all? Swift ArgumentParser, let's read the changelog once again. Changelog. I'm trying to think whether this has any unintended effect for me. Can specify default value for array property of parsable type. Oh, okay. So it's just a nicety that I don't. It doesn't really benefit me. Default values for all property now written using default initializer syntax, including some values that were previously implicit. Empty arrays and false. Yeah. Okay, so these were. So I'm just adding the implicit values back explicitly. Okay. Semantic change for flags with inversions that do not have a default value. Okay. In previous releases, these flags had a default value of false, starting with 2, this value of no default. therefore will be required by the user. Specify default value false to retain the old behavior. Wait, should I be concerned about this? Does this affect me? Let me read that again. So inversions that does not have a default value. Flags with inversions, right? So interface inversion, right? Previous releases, these flags had a default value of false. Now they will have no default. Huh, actually that's what I really want, right? Wait, but these are optional. So does that mean they no longer, I don't get it, it's inversion. So flags with inversion, that means these flags are Boolean, right? They do not have a default value. In previous releases, these flags had a default value of false. Starting here, this flag will have no default and therefore be required by the user. Be required by the user. Okay. Okay, good. So, okay, now it actually become clear what I need to think through. So one interesting thing about the command line argument is when you have a configuration file for your project and you call docstring will go and read options from that configuration file. But if you want to if you want to change anything from the configuration file, let's say temporarily, you can by specifying the new value for the option in command line. So in fact, the command line will override. So I need to think about whether these overrides has the desired effect. Yeah, I think it's fine because with all the inversions, for me, they are optional. Right. So I think I'm good. Okay. All right, that's pretty easy. Oh, reference the issue. Issues 201. Update branch. Okay. This time we want to rebase and squash and merge. Okay. So that's that. I guess that means if this is really done, wait, let me try this out. completion scripts. Does this mean generate completion script bash? Does this work? Oh, look at this. I'm really curious how this works. Let's try this. Let's generate Z shell and put it in completion. And then let's dump this into Z shell completion. Docstring dot I guess you're supposed to say this. Comp def docstring. Okay. Nice. Now let's launch the shell. Do I have docstring somewhere? Which docstring? Is that the one I want? Let's copy that. Copy the debug version of it. Docstring CLI to bin docstring. Overwrite, yes. Okay, so now if I do docstring, all right, dash. How does this work? Oh, I need to do more, right? I need to also do this. Okay. So install that in the Z shell RC. Yeah, once upon a time I used this shell, I guess. But if I remember correctly, not for long. Now let's source it just for good measures. Docstring. Oh, check. Dang. Docstring. Check. This confuses me a little bit. What are all this stuff? What if I say dash dash? Okay, that's much better. Wow, this is really cool. Yeah? But it also makes me think that users are not really, should not really be concerned about this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm also very happy that that option is not automatically part of the command line interface. Okay, so maybe we can include these completion scripts. I can't believe this is still running. All right, let's include these completion scripts. They look fun. Let's make a bunch of directories, right? Completion Z shell bash and then I'm gonna make a make file and have generate completion scripts, and then this will be Swift run docstring CLI, and then we'll just do generate completion script. They shall put it in completions. They shall docstring. And then we do the same thing for bash. And then we make this target phony. And then we include this target in our CI checks. Generate this, that, and this. Okay, so now make generate completion scripts. Look at this. I'm not a fan of the white spaces, but to be honest, I can't even complain. All right, so we'll just ship the scripts as part of the project, I guess. Generate CLI completion scripts for bash Z shell. It's a little ironic that I'm using fish though, but that's okay. I'm gonna also update Homebrew so that these scripts gets installed properly. Okay, this is taking some sweet time. So one instance of test passed, the other instance of building passed. So I'm going to call it good. Okay. So I'm going to use my administrator privileges to merge this pull request. Confirm and merge. Okay. Nice. Now we get to even close this issue. SAP update 2. Rebase on orange main. Origin min. So we have another thingy. Okay. Now this time we get update. This CLI auto complete. I don't know. Auto complete scripts for Bash and Zsh shell. And this guy closes issue 205, which we filed on stream, I think. SAP update. Okay, that one is deleted. This one is a brand new pull request. Let me see, really? This is all the changes? There are 2 entries in changelog. There's this many commits. Update logo. Yeah, actually that's interesting. Since this logo actually is totally out of date. Let me think, how should I do this? So in documentation, there should be a sketch file. Yes. Let's open logo.sketch. Yeah, so this is a version of the logo for sure, but it's not. Wait, why is this being opened in Xcode? What? Oh, because I use XED. Which is interesting, right? That means Xcode can open .sketch files now? All right. Some old stuff. Shared library updates. Sure. Okay. Cool. So how this works is there's an icon and then there's a so-called, what is called? The blade thingy, slice. And this banner uses the slice from the icon asset, which is somewhere else. Oh, it's right here. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, let's see, open recent. Pretty sure there's a different version of this here. Yeah. So how big is this artwork? It's a 1024. So let's grab the 1024 version from here, right? And just take this group 3 thingy. And then we'll delete the group 3 here and paste the group 3 thingy here. So that should be the new icon. So I thought this is a slice, but maybe it's not. Why is there 2 copy of this? Maybe I can add a slice after all. Right? Let's just slice this entire thing. And then move it here maybe. Oops. Can I lock? Can I select and move? I have no idea how slice work. I have to relearn it constantly for some reason. How does slice work? Oh, is the reason I need 2 copies because these 2 has different sizes? I don't get it. So what's the height of this banner? It's 512. What if I make this guy 512? Scale by 50%. Scale to 50%. Okay, let's put them next to each other. Let's make a slice. Maybe slice is not what I was thinking of. So maybe slice is for exports. Yeah. I think it's symbol. This is a symbol, right? So if I can insert a symbol in here, that'll be great. Document artwork. Ah, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Much better. Yeah, so this is a symbol and this is a usage of the symbol. Nice. And this is what I want to export. Okay. Hello? No. I don't want to XCD. I just want to open. All right. So we have this header icon, which is out of date. Ah, yes. I guess another thing is we need to update the documentation here to mention the fact that we have a Xcode plugin. That's a good thing to do. All right, so this doesn't need to change. This guy I need to re-export and rename it. Logo circular header. Okay. How's my pull request doing? Ooh, it failed. Something failed. Generate artifacts. Oh no. Update logo. Okay. Generate. So for some reason, this made a difference. Okay. Good enough for me. I guess the no empty banners. Yes. Okay. guess the option is changed after all. So all right, so that part is done. This can be done independently. We just need to drop the first commit. All right. Okay, so what else? What else? Yeah, mention Xcode. Sorry, docstring Xcode. That's one thing. We can take a look. So a master, this icon looks like this. If I switch to this, it's a different look. And in my opinion, it's a better look. It's more Big Sur-ish look. Actually, there's something interesting. Hold on. I mean, one obvious place we can update is here. Docstring. Okay. So I'm gonna go to App Store, search for the entry for docstring from here, right? So the reason I'm opening this up is I want to essentially turn either this image or this video. I want to include this. I wonder if there's a way to download it. Copy link, maybe. Don't deep link me. Ah. All right. Also, this is totally out of date. I mean, this is definitely. I also don't want to mislead the user. When you come to this GitHub project, what you get is a command line interface app, right? So maybe I shouldn't like put any of these eye-grabbing GUI interfaces over there. But also I want to make it very clear that these two are related, right? So okay. So definitely in README, the most visible place. Telling you to drop docstring through the code base, but finding and fixing inconsistencies among them, you can use docstring as a Xcode extension, editor extension. Nope. Maybe I should just update this documentation instead. Xcode for linting and run script, blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. Okay. Linting. Formatting. You can use the docstring Xcode the Xcode source editor extension. Top of docstring. Then we grab the link. Anything else? I mean, this definitely feels very low key. And I'm thinking something like this video, for example, is really powerful because it shows you like the options you have when it comes to formatting, and it also make it very clear that the formatter really works, right? I don't know. Maybe in the bio, docstring helps you take control of docstrings in your Swift code base by finding and fixing consistencies among them. That's fine. That is okay. Editor integrations exist to improve your user experience. With Xcode and more. I don't know. I just want to mention Xcode somewhere. Also, yeah, what I really need to update is this screenshot, actually. I mean, both of these screenshots are for linting. And there's no screenshot for formatting. And if I just put like this screenshot, for example, that's where the misleading part happens. All right, it's fine. I'll just mention that in the other document. It's fine. I mean, one of the feature of this README is it's super short. It fits in this screen, for example, right? You just, if you ignore the pictures, it's just literally one sentence, 5 sentences, right? And some titles. So I don't mind expecting people to click in these. Maybe Something like this, right? That's good. Just gonna hit that keyword. Is this 80 aligned? Probably. Mention Xcode integration. Xcode editor integration. Okay. That one is an insta merge. It's a link. It's a word update. Doesn't change new lines and stuff. Okay. Oh boy, when I merge these pull requests, they're gonna invalidate each other, aren't they? Because I require the pull request to be up to date with regards to master. So this is gonna have to be a squash and merge. And I'm gonna wait for this. Okay. Actually, no, I'm not gonna wait for this. Then what? Okay, let's say after all these changes today, I'm gonna tag a new release, right? That's the easy part. The hard part is actually do something about these completion scripts. So now I'm gonna jump to Homebrew formulae. All right, and so I obviously need to update this. The link to the tarball needs to change. And then I also need to update the install steps so that the completion scripts are installed. And hopefully there's a established way to do it with Homebrew. I just realized something else as well. So I might have users that relies on this script, but this is now part of the official Homebrew core. So maybe I should keep this up to date as well, in addition to, yeah, something like that. But that's not today's concern. Today we focus on docstring. Okay, so this is just some asset changes. So I don't know why I'm waiting for CI. Let's just rebase and merge. Oh, I should have squashed. Dang it. I hope rebase removed the merge commit. I think it does. Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's bump our version. So there's a version.swift. Let's bump this to, oops, Is it a minor update? Sure. Let's call this 0.4.1. What happens between 3 and 4? I guess there's some breaking changes, right? Okay. Just to be sure, 0.4.1. Does it appear anywhere else? In the changelog, of course. Okay. Release. Okay. Bump release version 2 0.4.2. Release. Again, I don't think this will cause any trouble, so I'm just gonna insta merge it. The issue I have right now is the GitHub action is probably very throttled at this point. Lots of queued up works. So maybe I should cancel some. Like, for example, the ones for... Oh, wait. Oh yeah, these branches are deleted. So can I just cancel the tasks? I just think like GitHub, this is some area for improvement for GitHub. Like just save some resources, save some money. Someone claim the project and get a promo. Come on. Okay, cancel that one. Cancel this one. Oh, I keep clicking the link to the branch. Okay, we saved ourselves at least a little bit of time. These master ones still are running. Okay. All right, so I can choose to wait it out on stream or off stream. At this point, I kind of am leaning towards the latter. But I do think the homebrew part is maybe potentially interesting. Well, let me do that, right? I think we can just cheat and look at how other projects do it. Let's go to homebrew core. Let's look at ripgrep, my go-to. Yeah, see, there are seemingly established way to install these, so that's really good. Wait, do these naming convention matter? Let's see. Bash completion script name completion scripts. I just want to find what kind of naming convention people are using. Command completion comp specs. Completion, creating a bash completion script. What is bash completion? How it works? Why bother? Hands on. Okay, creating an executable. Do this in your working directory and add the following code. Then you do this, you put it in there, and then you do this, and then okay, and then you create a completion script. Do this completion. Okay, so that's one example. It's do this completion.bash. And here dot bash. Wait. Completion script. Sourcing our completion script. Wait, let's just look at comp spec. Maybe not. Come on, folks. Don't ignore the file name. Like, walk me through it step by step, you know? Open Finder. Use Command Shift H or O to open this path. You know, say choose file name, specific file name, and blah blah blah. And the specific file name part is the only part that I care about. Where the file name at? Okay, broken link. Any tutorial? Introduction to Bash completion. Part 1. Okay, so this looks like a semi official thing because it's on Debian. Well, it has a Debian logo. I don't know if the affiliation of things. Okay, my impression is like the name doesn't really matter that much, except for Z shell. Z shell seems to be pretty strict about underscore. So maybe it's better to rename this. Yeah. Because I really don't like underscore thing. So yeah. Let's just move it. Completions, bash, completions, bash, docstring. I like that other example that says, I think app dash completion dot bash. I keep thinking it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah. I like that. Let's just follow. Yeah, let's just follow this convention. Good enough for me. Completion.bash. I kind of don't get the completion script. Let me verify the naming convention part. Completion system autoload comp unit. Then you have blah. Okay. Example of completion script. Okay, there's nothing special about this shell completion script. It's just normal this shell script that uses to register itself as a power. So you are free to structure this whenever you want, you see fit. But following structure to be helpful. Define a function called dash program that provides default completions for each subcommand. For dash program subcommand provides the completions. It takes the completion script. Pretty straightforward to write. But is it straightforward to distribute? More generally, the shell function containing the completion system are of two types. The one begins comp are called directly. The ones beginning underscore are called by the completion code. The shell functions contained in the completion system. I'm gonna guess the file name doesn't really matter. From what I've read so far, completions, they shall completions docstring completion dot they shall then move completions bash completions then completions they shall bash. Okay, let me try the they shall completion thing again. Where did I get the name about the underscore? Without, oh my gosh, you need to. Your completion must have the following file name format. Why? Is it something oh my Z shell does? Docs. Everything here has underscore. But where is this official documentation about this underscore saying you write your first issue auto completion? You need to activate completion system first, blah blah blah, just around You go, hello, you write this. Usually starts with underscore, bind your function to a command. You can hello is called, comp add, describe. Yeah, it doesn't mention conventions or file name. That makes me sad. Where to place completion script on Linux? Awesome. Right, I think I did this. Auto load. Yeah, my concern is like if you, for example, this guy named it, maybe not this guy. This guy named it underscore.zsh. I mean, okay, so maybe I'm overthinking this. Am I overthinking this? I'm super omega overthinking this, am I? Completions. Let me just, yeah. You know what? I actually kind of like having dash completion. Okay. Docstring completion. Docstring. Getting started. tips and tricks. Maybe tips and tricks should be its own document. I'll just embed it in here for sure for now. Completion shell completion script. Docstring has a lot of CLI options. Even you can look. You may install one of the completion scripts shipped with it included in the project. If one exists for your shell. Find them here. Okay. All right. So CI caught up. That's good. Stash pop. Rename completion scripts. Probably want to also rename the job. So this should go to scripts, completions, docstring, completion.zsh, and bash. Okay. All right, just straight go to main. And I think I closed the issue, right? All right. While I'm here, I'm going to file a new issue. No completion script for fish. All right. So What was it? Yeah, I wonder what these things do. Let's see. Brew.sh, right? Installation options. Search homebrew. Docs. Okay. Search documentation. Let's search for bash completion. No result. Completion. Configuring completions in bash. Homebrew shell completion. Look at this. This is so awesome. All right, so I can roughly guess what these things do, right? Because well, I'm still concerned. Like, why does RG make it underscore RG instead of RG.zshell? Maybe just to be safe, I should follow the same convention. There's also that comment from ArgumentParser with regards to OMSZshell that correlates to this behavior. So, all right, I'm changing my mind again. Changing my mind, changing my mind. Bash they shall, oops, they shall move to bash. Move to they shall docstring. All right, and then open makefile. So this is this shell, so that will become this shell docstring. This guy is bash. Okay. Rename scripts again. Okay, and I can probably also just update homebrew formula docstring rip grab as tradition, as is tradition, which is copy, right? Indent this. Seems like there's some weird indentation issues going on here. What? Why was the what was that 3 spaces? Oh my god. Okay, no fish. The this script is in scripts, completions, bash, docstring, completion dot bash. Okay. And this one is in script completion z shell underscore docstring. Okay, so that's the part I need to make, change I need to make to docstring homebrew formula. Okay, so now let me just go and tag the versions. Do I use v prefix here? Guess I do. Tag this, push it up. We'll prepare prepare a release. There should be one more tag. Okay. Guess I can edit tag. So now there's a release title, change log, yoink. Publish. Now over here, you can say this is 0.4. Everything else doesn't change. I do need to wait for this to show up, which is part of the GitHub action, release action. Yes, this guy. All right, so this is going to take a little bit of time. But after that, we'll calculate the SHAs, publish the SHA in the release page, update the SHA here, and push this. Well, before I push this, I will test this out, right? And yeah, that should be good. Wait, I kind of want to undo my Z shell thingy experiment. Z shell is a pretty good shell. Okay, so I guess I did this, right? So I want to remove it. Syntax editor, Swift. Okay, just a little bit of archaeology here. See, at some point I played with Emacs and I was running Z shell inside. Okay, we no longer have the completion script. That's what I want. Wow, this stream, I thought it was going to be a short one, but here we are, 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Just waiting around, waiting around. Oh, hey, it's running. We can take a look at what it does. Not that I don't know, but in case some of you are curious. Yeah, so here's release.yaml. It's very, very simple. It checks out our code. It sets the Xcode version. It runs make package Darwin, and then I upload with this action. Some of these things can be updated. For example, there's a v2 now that's supposedly better. This upload release thing could potentially be replaced by something now. But why bother? We can take a look at the makefile action. Package Darwin. Okay, well, that's kind of lame. So it runs this, right? So package Darwin. We first do some cleanup. We find our system installed Swift path, and then we copy this dynamic library, all right, to as part of the package, and then we use this this tool, install name tool, to add our path to our binary. Okay, the binary is this, which is what the Swift PM generates when the build action finishes. Yep, and then it's just a matter of using the build path as the root directory, and then zip everything up. Everything being the bin directory and the lib directory. And then we move the resulting package to build. And we're on the step where we actually build a binary, and that's taking a little bit of time, I guess. Okay, the only action that matters is this one. Be right back. Also, I don't know if any of you noticed, or any of you watch my streams often enough to know this. I'm trying to do a regular-ish stream schedule. This is not, I'm not committed to this in any way, shape, or form. But I'm trying to do Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. PST. And the length of the stream may vary depending on how things go and how much self-control I have. And then I'm thinking Sunday maybe afternoon and that could be a longer stream. So that's my imaginary stream schedule, and I'm hoping that having a schedule may help more folks find me. Okay, so this is done. That means I can go to this release page. Now I have this little package here. I'm just gonna, I think I have a script for this. Scripts. Shasun, maybe? Yeah, I think I can do this. Let's see what happens. Docstring. Oh. So this doesn't work. Why would this ever work? I don't know. I probably made some mistake. No matter. We'll just go here. I think the easiest way is just literally something like this. Shasun 254. There we go. Actually, there we go. That's what I do. I just take this and paste it in here. I know this can be automated, but this is how I do it. Okay. Now I can go back here and we can do our little Zsh shell experiment. I have no idea how it's supposed to work, but so we know that this path has this SHA and this path has, this is the .targz one, so this guy. Okay, and then I guess I should do brew on install docstring if possible. Docstring. I still have a docstring, probably in my local directory. Okay, let's remove that as well. All right, now if I type docstring, it's unknown command. Okay, in Z shell, this should be the same. Okay. And now we do brew install. Oh, stop. I forgot how this works. No, stop. Brew install form. Nope, nope, no. Formula docstring.rb. To be fair, this is correct result for brew install. Except, like, I never wanted. Who would want this? Literally every single thing in Homebrew. Oh no. No such file or directory. Scripts, completions, bash. Is this not the way? Not the way? Come on. So this is correct. Alright, I can't use this shell. I no longer know how to do it. Ah, of course. It's not in the archive. It's not in this archive. Whoops. All right, I'm gonna delete this release. Delete, 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 delete. Delete. Delete this. Whoops. Hopefully no one downloaded it during that little bit of time. Okay, let's fix that. Oh, that I should have thought of this. I even showed you guys about this, right? Okay, so there's this package Darwin script that needs to be updated. Package Darwin. All right. So. Script path is build path script completions. Okay, and then we will. Okay, we make this directory and then we copy content of scripts completions to build path, maybe something like this. Build path completions. And then here we include the completions. Okay. Now let's run that script. Well, in fact, let's run make package Darwin. All right, so I think I'm about to end the stream. After this command finishes, I will find the archive. I'll do this part on stream and open it and see this, verify that the scripts are there, and then I'm gonna end stream. Because what I'm gonna do next is I've already done it once. You know, I'm gonna tag the release it, and then I'm gonna push that homebrew changes to my private homebrew formulas, and that's it. Okay. Oh, I noticed that this file actually takes a little bit of time to generate, to compile. Wonder if that can be improved somehow. Argument parser. Okay, so let's go here. Let's take a gander. completions generator. Completion shell. I mean, I assume, yeah, this looks fairly simple, which is what I expected, right? Because the library has the metadata with regards to each command, the parsable command. So it's just a matter of print some strings according to those. So the most important part is learning how the completion is supposed to work. Like if you can handwrite it, it shouldn't be hard to generate it. Okay, so in build, we should have, is it in here? No. Should have a tarball somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So after I unzip it, this is what I get. Move this to T, CDT, tar XUF, and then list content of this. So we've got our tarball original, we have our binary, we have our lib, we have our completion scripts as they were. Okay. Now the scripts are in completions, blah, 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 instead of scripts / completions. Otherwise, everything should work. Okay. As promised, I won't make you wait through the CI again. Thanks so much for watching and have a good one.